It's a moment Tony Romo wishes he could have passed on. Tony Romo made a career out of reading defenses, but during a recent traffic stop in Wisconsin, the former Cowboys quarterback seemed to have trouble reading the situation. Body cam footage showing Romo's encounter with police before his arrest on suspicion of driving impaired. Things didn't start well from the initial snap.
The reason for my stop today is the unsafe passing on the right, the lane deviation.
Say it louder, I'm sorry.
Unsafe passing on the right, cutting across the gore. Obviously, the gore.
On the noisy shoulder of a highway, Romo appears to be having trouble understanding the questions. Did the officer fail to communicate properly? Who better to answer this than NBC4 legal analyst Royal Oakes?
You can second guess the officer a little bit in terms of speed of speech, but overall it was pretty civil on both sides.
Not so much once Romo tells the officer he just left the golf course.
How many drinks have you had? You're coming from a golf course?
Was the officer wrongly assuming Romo was drinking while driving on the range?
It may be that when an officer hears somebody is coming from the golf course, the one thing that pops into their head is, oh, the 19th hole. There must have been a lot of drinking involved. So you could have a presumption of guilt there on the part of the police.
Then before getting out of the car, Romo tries to contact a lawyer, and the officer quickly calls for backup. Royal Oakes, did Romo have a right to call an attorney during the interaction?
You don't have a right to call your lawyer if you're involved in a traffic stop like this. At some point later, of course, you may. But the officer has a right to insist on compliance with the order. Please get out. Let's do a field sobriety test. Will you take the breath test?
Away from the highway, Milwaukee police conducted their field sobriety test. Before starting, they asked Tony a sensitive question.
Any head injuries recently? Any concussions?
Well,
hello, darkness, my old friend.
Michael Foley got a clean
I've come to talk with you again.
Michael Foley
Because visions of me
got him, and Romo is slow to get up.
If somebody has a medical history of a concussion or a head injury, that could impact how they behave in terms of their balance. How do they do on a field sobriety test?
Well, the police report says Romo did poorly during the test. Social media went to work again to contradict that. Yeah, social media has gone pretty easy on the former QB and current NFL commentator. This user says Romo somehow walked away with more fans thanks to his charm. But there is some backlash, a few applauding the police work. Romo was cited for driving under the influence, according to Royal Oakes. Romo will likely not serve any time since Milwaukee has some of the most lenient drunk driving laws in the nation, especially on a first offense with no crash or injuries. But regardless of where you are or who you are, please don't drink and drive. Guys?